Okay. Now this would be like since today is the first class, okay, and it's been like we were supposed to start last week itself. I also couldn't start. Okay, so however we started. Okay, so what is success factor? First of all, okay, I mean I do understand some of you from SAP and some of you from non-SAP background. Okay, to bring to your knowledge. Okay, first of all, what is success factor? Why nowadays people are talking about success factor? Just a minute. Yeah. So today we talk about success factor. Okay. Now everybody, I mean, it's across the globe. People talk about success factor. What this success factor? What is this success factor is doing? Okay. So I just wanted to say that. Okay. Till 2012, okay, success factor was not so great, okay, so in doing this, okay, I mean in the global market, okay, so SAP is a global leader in ERP and they were not very good in terms of talent modules. So when you talk about payroll system or time management, the OMPA, okay, especially in payroll, they are the world leader, okay, so when it comes to talent modules, okay, be it learning solution or recruitment, e-recruiting or PMS, okay, or onboarding, whatever the module, they have, I mean, those talent module ERPs, but they were not very successful in doing that, okay. So, I mean, they were not interested in investing for the continuous or in, I mean, the search perspective, but wherein they decided to go for a leader in the talent module segment. Okay, so that is when they have chosen SuccessFactor, and since SuccessFactor comes from the US background, okay, so it is predominantly in the US, and they decided, okay, let's go and buy, I mean, acquire this, and this is when in the year 2012 end this particular acquisition happened, and at the end of 2012 SuccessFactor became an SAP company. Okay, this is how. Okay, so till then it was, I mean, it was in the market for more than a decade, but suddenly it came to the limelight of the people by 2012 end, or ideally speaking 2013 beginning, okay, when the acquisition happened. So then people, everybody started looking for or searching for what is success factor. Success factor, okay, success factor is a cloud solution. Remember one thing, success factor is not an ERP. Okay, SAP is a ERP, success factor is a cloud solution. Okay, SAP is a ERP on-premise solution, and this is a pure cloud solution. Okay, in cloud solution, what are the things that they have it? Okay, so when we talk about cloud, okay, what is cloud? So which cloud, do you know what is cloud, or should I explain what is cloud also? Hello?
I already know what cloud is. Cloud
Okay.
is just like Gmail or just like
Yeah.
Yahoo. I mean, now the cloud is, it has become very much robust and holistic. You can use it as cloud as AAS, software as service, and the old version, or you can say that Yahoo was on cloud, Google is on cloud, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So, I mean, to tell you in a way, okay, so what is cloud? There are three different services are put together and offered, okay, so that service is called cloud, okay. So we have PaaS, Platform as a Service, and we have IaaS, Infrastructure as a Service, and SaaS, SaaS, Software as a Service. So all put together, okay, so I mean cloud consist of all these three different platform and services put together. So that is called cloud. Okay, so now when we talk about SuccessFactor, how SuccessFactor maintains. Okay, SuccessFactor have their own data center across the globe. Okay, they have it in Asia, they have it in Europe, they have it in Africa, they have it in the US. Okay, so they have all different places. They have their own data center with very well firewall maintained. Okay, so the data is stored there. Okay, so in this way, what is the difference between SAP and SuccessFactor? SAP, we need to maintain the servers, we need to maintain all the access, everything. But in SuccessFactor, we don't have to maintain any server, nothing. Okay, we just have to log in, how we log into Gmail and work and do it. If one report, everything we do, all those things, we work on it. So we are not concerned where is my data, how is my data, how is the servers should be maintained, nothing, everything is taken care. Okay, so in SuccessFactor, what are the various modules that are there? Okay, so I hope you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the provisioning and this is the instance screen. Okay, so here we will be discussing more. Okay, so there are two things involved in this. Okay, one is the provisioning, okay, which is the back-end activities where we use the initial setting up of the system and we deal with the data models. Okay, so most of the time we will be dealing with the data models in the provisioning, and apart from that all the configurations, everything will be done in the instance. So we call instance as a front-end instance, or we call it as instance, or we sometimes people do call it as portal also. Okay, so different people comes with a different terminology, but otherwise it is called instance, front-end instance, and the back-end is called provisioning. Okay, so in SuccessFactor we have various modules. Okay, and Employee Central is one of the base module. Okay, if you talk about SAP, somebody who says I'm a payroll consultant and I don't know OM and PA, and we can directly say that he is not a payroll consultant, because in SAP OM and PA is a must for any consultant. So similarly, okay, for SuccessFactor we should know, Employee Central is a must. Okay, it is like a gateway to all modules, because if you talk about PMGM, compensation or learning or onboarding, anything, HR talks about the organization and their employees. Okay, so to do a performance management, we should know where is the data, employee data is coming from, how is the organization data is coming from. Okay, so those things would come only through Employee Central. Okay, so that is what is Employee Central. Okay, this is how the front end screen will look. Okay, so we will talk about Employee Central. Okay, so in this particular course we will talk about Employee Central for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, what is Employee Central? Employee Central is talks about organization and their employee. Okay, so that's all. So in Employee Central, okay, probably if you guys want to make a notes, okay, you can make a notes of it. Okay, there are 7 data models. Okay, what are those data models? Okay, and moreover, what are all these data modules? Okay, that is also is more important. Let me just log into the system. This is the provisioning system. Okay, once you log in, it's the provisioning system, and this is where the data models will come. Okay, so we have 7 data models in SuccessFactor. Okay, especially in Employee Central we have 7 data models. If you want, you can make a note of it. Otherwise, maybe in the coming class, each of the data model we will be discussing it. Okay, so we have corporate data model, we have country specific corporate data model, and we have succession and country specific succession data model. Okay, so and we have propagation, we have event reason derivation data model and workflow derivation. So what is these data models? Okay, so the inflow, the front end instant is built, okay, built to the data model. How a data model will look like? Okay, so I mean, this is how the data model will look. Okay, so you don't have to worry about why this data model looks like this. So you should not, I mean, you don't have to worry about this. So I will teach you what is required, how you have to read this particular XML language. Okay, so this I will be taking you through this for 1 or 2 days sessions. Okay, so that you know how to read this and understand what is this XML and how the XML works. Okay. Okay, so for any questions?
No.
Okay. And mostly, see, as I mean, as I said, 15% of our configuration work we will be doing it in the provisioning, okay, and the remaining 85% of the work we will be doing it in the instance. Okay, so instance, we would be discussing about MDF objects. What is MDF objects? So metadata framework, okay, it consists of both foundation objects and generic objects. So what are all generic objects? What are all foundation objects? So when we talk about generic objects, well, our legal entity, division, business unit, division, department, all those hierarchy comes in the foundation objects. Okay, we talk about position, location, cost center, all comes under the generic objects. So those discussion we will be discussing it, and how do we configure, how do we define MDF objects, how do we configure, how we manage the data for MDF objects. So those things we would be covering it, and we have something called RBP, role-based permissions. Okay, so if we talk about SAP terminology, we have this roles and authorization. So I mean that is what we call it here in roles and permissions. So in this we will decide, okay, when the client will decide who should have what access. Okay, so for example, if I talk about in the normal generic way, okay, so an employee can view his or her CTC, okay, pipe them in the compensation detail, but employee cannot edit. But whereas the manager and HR can edit the compensation detail at the time of appraisal as per SuccessFactors process. So this will be decided who should have what access. So that we would be discussing about role-based permissions. Okay, and we have this position management. Okay, position management talks about how the position is created, how it is vacant, all those things. It covers the complete position part of it. Okay, and apart from that, we have data import and export. We have three different levels of import and export. Okay, for any import and export, we have a separate consultant called data migration consultant, or we have a conversion team. Okay, so that does the data migration or data movement part. Okay, if we talk about in I mean SAP terminology, we call it as LSMW consultant. Okay, so they basically do the migration of data. Okay, a migration consultant. So here we have a employee export. Okay, so employee export comes here. Okay, employee export, and we have import foundation data. Okay, we take the foundation data, and we also have, okay, so the MDF objects definitions. Okay, so how do we export and import the MDF data? And after that we have these reports. Okay, what are the standard reports, what are the ad hoc reports, so how do we run the reports? So those things we would be discussing. And initial setting up of the system, how do we add a logo? Okay, how do we define? Okay, how do we add a field, for example? Okay, so can you see my screen? The crowd is pin drop silent. Okay, fine.
Yes,
So
I can see.
okay. So these fields, okay, these are the fields. How do we add a field? Okay, we can add a particular field, we can hide, we can remove a particular field, we can change the label name of a particular field. Okay, so we would be discussing how and what basis this can be done and what are the ways we can be doing it. Okay, so we would be discussing, and also we will be discussing about the business rules. Okay, how to write a rule. Okay, so business rule we would be discussing. Okay, and we will discuss about the workflows, event reasons, and the propagation. Okay, what is a propagation? Propagation is called also a dynamic action from SAP terminology. Okay, so this represents like the one field. Okay, in one field when I update the information, the same information should be updated in the other field also. So that is called propagation. Okay, so this is been used to reduce the manual work. For example, in one place I type some information, those information should get updated in some other places also. So in that way, instead of typing in two places, I can type in one place and I can save my time. That is how it goes. Okay, and apart from that we have portlets. Okay, what is a portlet? Now the question is, what is a portlet? If you see the national ID information, okay, this is a particular portlet. If you see the personal information, this is a particular portlet. If you see address, it's a portlet. Similarly, biographical is a portlet. Work permit information is a portlet. Contract information is a portlet. So these are all portlets. Portlet is also called, from the SAP perspective, if you take, they are called Infotec. But here it is called portlets.
Can you
Okay?
just spell it?
Yeah, hello?
Hello, can you just spell that for me? In
Okay.
SuccessFactors Zenfotec, what do they call?
Portlet.
Can you just spell it for me?
P-O-R-T-L-E-T, portlet. In SAP we call this as Infotec. Okay? And we create the workflows and we have this time off. Okay, time off is been used in SuccessFactor. Okay, but this is not been used so extensively, but still it has been used to define a calendar, holidays and holiday calendars. For those purposes, this time off is been used in Employee Central. Okay, so far any questions you have?
No.
Are you understanding the overview how the system?
Yes.
Yes,
Is
so
there
far
any
so
difference?
good.
Okay. Yeah, Ali. So I just see your question. Is there
Thank you.
any difference between portlet and pick list? Okay. No difference. Portlet, when I talk about say person information, this is a portlet. Okay. But what is a pick list? This is a drop down. Okay. So again, pick list, we have two pick list. Say for example, title. Okay. This is the drop down. This is one drop down. This is suffix. This is one drop down. Okay. And so here, marital status, this is a drop down. Drop down is this, portlet is a particular info type. Okay, so pick list is any drop down is called in generally pick list. Okay, then again they have a normal pick list, they have a MDF pick list. So pick list that comes for the MDF objects and MDF or related objects, they are called MDF pick list. The normal one is called normal pick list. Does that answer to the question? Ali?
Yes, it does. And can we also call this a portlet or portlet a tile? I mean, it's a tile basically, right? In the CMS?
No,
No?
it's not tile. Tile is what you are saying is, I'll show you. When we go talk about employee personal information, this is called tile. Okay, this
Okay,
is called
got it.
tile.
Got it. Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay, so I mean this is so flexible that if we can just move it as we wish. Okay, so this is a tile, and portlet comes in the data. Okay, tails come on the home page. When you click on home page, this will come. Okay,
Okay.
I mean this is,
Okay,
I
thanks.
mean yes, since this is a first day session, okay, I just wanted to take you a overview. Okay, so I don't want to dump with so many things. Okay, so I hope you understood what is, I mean, we got some overview about this particular product. Okay, so from today, tomorrow, we will have the actual class starts. Okay, so I mean, if I give you the overview and start the class, that will not make you comfortable. Okay, so do you have any other questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, fine. So how about the others?
No questions.
Okay, so I mean just to have your expectation. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, so from tomorrow we will start from the provisioning initial setup. What are the initial setup we will be doing it, and we'll start with the data models. Okay, so we will go one by one. Okay, so my intention is every day one topic. Okay, so that we can complete the training on time. Okay, that's how I'm seeing it. And if you have any questions, thoughts, I mean, I'm always reachable. And when it comes to access, okay, once, I mean, in the beginning, I don't want to give. Once I complete some 10 days class, just a minute, guys. So once, I mean, I'm done, you will get your access, and then you can start doing it on your access, and I will be giving you the materials also. Okay, so we will be discussing the way how a live project should be dealt. Okay, so when we start a project, we start with a workshop. Okay, so the client workshop or a business workshop. Okay, what do we do in the business workshop? Okay, so in the business workshop, we understand the client requirement and we prepare a workbook. Okay, so the workbook is treated as the more important part of the project, and whatever is mentioned in the workbook, we are bound to do it. And if the customer wants to add anything addition to the workbook, that can be charged extra. Okay, so the company has the rights to charge it extra. Okay, so it will be an additional change and additional billing will be required for that. If not, it goes for an approval and the changes can be updated in the workbook. So that is how it is being treated, and once the workbook is ready, then we start doing the configuration. It is being tested. It is being tested in by aggression testing. You have a regression. You have this UAT testing. You have different internal testing. Okay, so to check the process for everything, okay, there is a step involved. So those each and every steps that we would be discussing. Apart from that, SAP recommends couple of standard steps. Okay, what needs to be done, which is after what process is next. So those template I will be taking you through, and I will also explain you those templates also. Okay, I mean this I am just given you the overall view how I mean how I am going to conduct the session, how you will be receiving the knowledge. So any questions so far? ready for certification for EC. What is the question? I didn't get probably, Maitreyi.
Hi, I asked because you told that we will do the work, like whatever we will have the day-to-day work, project work and all. So after all this, can we go for the certification of the EC module?
You can go for the certification.
Okay.
Okay, so I mean, you can go and you
Yeah.
can try it on your own. But the problem with the certification is, okay, so sometimes, okay, I mean the live scenarios come, see, there is a difference, okay, so there is a difference that whenever you come for a training or anything, okay, the learning curve goes like this, okay, so now whatever the background you come from, whatever the level of language knowledge that you come from, when now you are in the training stage, okay, once you learn, okay, I mean we think in different angle, okay, we wanted to be on a very fast stage, okay, so it is like a fresher joins a company and the next 2 years he wants a promotion to be a senior software engineer, then he wants a TL, 5-6 years he wants to be a AM or a project manager. So that is how the level of expectation of any human being. But ideally the learning graph goes like this. You are from training to, okay, I mean it's honestly saying, from a student stage you go to a beginner stage. From a beginner stage then you go to a learner stage. Okay, maybe yes, okay, whatever I tell you, you guys can practice, that should help. But if you have the hope of like within the first time I should be, no, you should take time. You have to prepare your time because those are all, we cannot predict what kind of questions will come. Okay, they have formats, okay, out of that something will come, okay, it is a pool, from the pool what will come, which one will come, we cannot define. So it actually requires little more, or say more practice before going for the exam.
Yes, I just wanted to know all the topics are covered to sit for the exam in the training.
Yes, exam topics are all covered, okay, for the
Yeah.
training.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Okay, fine. So any other questions?
Yes, I do have a question. You mentioned that you will give us the instant success
Yes.
after at least one week or so, right? That
Yes.
we can grasp the knowledge which you're giving us. And by the way, so far so good. What I like about the session is that not only you're answering the question, but at the same time you're making sure that the session is going to be logical, and that's really important. I've gone through a couple of other trainings. I did not like them because they were not very logical. And I also like the fact that you are starting from the core things. You're not going into, that stuff which we don't need. So thank you for doing that, Arvind. I appreciate that.
You're always welcome. And any other questions, Sophia?
No, not for today.
No questions? Okay, fine. Okay, so tomorrow 10:30 we will connect. Okay,
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, fine. Thank you guys. Good night. And Ali. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Maitreyi. And thanks, Sunny. Ali.
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Yeah, just hold on a minute. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, guys, thanks. We can just close. We can just log off.